Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on PlusTvAfrica. My name is Mikhail Tinubu. Welcome on the show. Now, we are joined on the line by Gbenga Gboyega today. Gbenga, welcome.
Hi, good evening. It's nice to be here. Nice to have you back. It's been a while.
Yes, it has been a while. I'm happy to be back and happy to have you back on the show. Now, we'll do a quick conversation about the state of Nigerian football, but the major discussion today is going to center around the Everton story. In case you've been hiding under a rock or you've been distracted by the international football break, maybe we have to remind you what's been going on. Everton has been deducted 10 points, and we're going to discuss all of the ramifications of that punishment and potentially what might still be available to them in terms of trying to fight it if they can. Now, going back to Nigeria's football, Nigeria Football Federation board member Nse Essien has stated that they are unhappy with Jose Peseiro's performance as Super Eagles coach. However, they cannot sack him because they cannot afford to pay him off. The Portuguese tactician Peseiro took charge of the Super Eagles in May 2022, but has been considered unimpressive by some quarters of Nigerians. The former Braga coach arrived with a rich CV. However, his poor winning rate and penchant for getting sacked in his previous jobs stand out. Since Peseiro was appointed, he has won just 6 of his 13 games. The Super Eagles have not improved since Gernot Rohr was sacked in 2021. The Super Eagles, who started their 2026 World Cup journey last week with fixtures against Lesotho and Zimbabwe, were considered favourites to win those matches, but proved disappointing with draws against Lesotho in Abuja and again sharing the spoils with Zimbabwe in Rwanda. Following the recent results, Nigerian football fans have been clamouring for Peseiro's sack. With the Africa Cup of Nations just a few weeks away, Nigeria is in a precarious situation. With the recent performances, the Super Eagles do not look good enough to win the gold in Ivory Coast. Let's talk Jose Peseiro. Let's talk NFF's incompetence and its inability to not only fire him because they can't afford to pay him off, but also they are currently owing him substantial amounts of money. They've only paid him 3 months' salary this year.
So basically, I think it's just a matter of, it's a ripple effect of how the guy came in, talking about Jose Peseiro. So how did he come in? We know that the last time we had a foreign coach, which was Gernot Rohr, was let go in December 2021. And that was close to when we were going for the AFCON in 2022, January in Cameroon, just like we are now going to the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire in January 2024. And what did Nigeria do? Sack Gernot Rohr. And at the time, they were in communication with Jose Peseiro, but refused to give him the job instantly. Told him to understudy a technical director to come and be the interim coach of the Super Eagles during the AFCON. Of course, we know what happened. It was an abysmal outing and we came out in the round of 16. Oh yeah, Iguavon, go back to where you...
Yes, Augustin Iguavon did take on temporary stewardship of the team. Go on, Benga.
Yeah, so I said the contract itself for Jose Peseiro now covered taking Nigeria, not just qualifying Nigeria to the AFCON, but taking Nigeria to the AFCON and winning it. Meanwhile, they gave Peseiro a 1-year contract. That 1-year contract expired this year in June. The AFCON is yet to be played. So that was the first quagmire in the relationship between the NFF and Jose Peseiro. They are telling me to take it to the AFCON. Now my contract is over. In the scenario when my contract is over, you are still owing me 10 months salary. Now, here is NFF saying the solution moving forward is take a pay cut. We know we are owing you, but take a pay cut and still take us to the AFCON. So I'm just painting this picture for us to understand that we have a coach that is working without ample resources. Nobody works optimal in optimal capacity under that kind of circumstance. Not you, not me, not anybody who is old over a year, right? Now, this is the Super Eagles' job where you need to rewrite history. We are 2 games into the World Cup qualifier. We didn't qualify for the World Cup last year. So we are hanging on the balance and may not qualify for the World Cup in 2026. When next would that be? 2030. So Joseph Peseiro's job now is so sensitive that he has to succeed. And I don't understand that. See, we may paint the coaching style, the team, blah blah blah, but it starts from the background and the foundation of how this guy
Quick
got the job in
question,
the first place,
Benga.
how he's still here.
Are we getting ahead of ourselves? Because with typical international or national team jobs, it is usually a standard of 5-year project that the manager, the coach, is working towards realizing the fulfillment of such a project. Even though competitions will come and go in that period, which they will use to assess the progress that the squad has made under the head coach. But it's still a long-term project that is supposed to culminate in a future tournament that coincides with probably the end point of the contract to hopefully certify that the project has been realized. In this case, like you said, Peseiro was given an initial 1-year contract. That contract has been renewed, albeit on reduced wages. But still, are we getting ahead of ourselves in the fact that given that this national team is so much farther behind than most projects in the national team coaching game, like the English game, like the German game, which has just only recently gotten a new manager, and that manager obviously would be given a decent amount of time to realize the dream, the project, unless of course the team, the squad, breaks apart because they no longer trust the head coach, as it happened with the German squad. I'm asking again, are we getting ahead of ourselves, expecting much more than we should, barring even removing the difficulties faced with wages not being paid to this manager on time and in full?
All right, so let me paint another picture, right? We are going into the World Cup qualifiers off the back of qualifying for the AFCON with a goalkeeping problem. We've had that goalkeeping problem since the last AFCON in 2022, which, of course, everybody will paint, Maduka Okoye will have done this, will have done that, blah, 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 but it was still the goalkeeping problem. Goalkeeping problem saw us concede a goal against Ghana in Abuja that ended up taking Nigeria out of the race to Qatar in 2022, talking about the World Cup. The same goalkeeping problem is what we are facing now. And something so interesting is the fact that in the last 4 games, Nigeria have conceded almost all their goals from set pieces. Against Mozambique, against Saudi Arabia, against Lesotho last week, against Zimbabwe yesterday, all the goals were scored from set pieces. Now, let's look at the reverse side of it. The game against Zimbabwe yesterday, Nigeria had the set piece in the box, not a penalty shootout, a set piece, because there was a back pass to the goalkeeper, and instead of kicking it back, he handled it. So it was a set piece within 10 yards. Look at what the Zimbabwe players did to show that they train for set pieces, not just scoring it, but also defending against it. Kelechi Iheanacho and Victor Boniface were on the ball, and Boniface, the plan was pass the ball, they call it square play, square the ball to Joe Aribo, who was close to the ball, and all you had to do was poke it to the back of the net. Guess what? Joe Aribo passed it to a Lesotho, to a Zimbabwean defender, because he was already expecting that that was what the Super Eagles were going to do. So we were playing against a team that scored us from a free kick, a wonderful free kick that is a set piece, and also defended our own set piece from a closer range. Goalkeeping problem is there. Tactically, we are nowhere. Selection is abysmal. When the key players like Victor Smith is not there, we have 5, 6, 7 center forwards, and we still don't know how to use them. So again, the problems are much, and it will be.
Wenga, if I'm hearing you correctly, and I think I am, and I've had this discussion with another sports analyst, the goalkeeping problem in Nigeria does seem to be hindering our ability to move forward. The biggest display of a manager's ability to set up a team tactically is usually reflected in the way the team defends. And it seems that
Absolutely.
the way Nigeria is defending, as it's capsulated in the way we defend set pieces, now seems to show that Peseiro may not be tactically astute enough to do the job. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely, I feel so. I will keep saying it whenever I have the opportunity. Be it club management in Europe, be it country management in Nigeria. Calvin Bassey is not a centre back. Someone out there should please transfer this message to whoever is in charge. Calvin Bassey is a catastrophe in centre back pairing, especially alongside Shilo Ajayi. Calvin Bassey is a left back. He knows how to track back and he knows how to advance the ball. He was trying to do a left back work as a centre back yesterday. A lot of times when he was trying to advance the ball, he lost it because he was coming through the middle, not through the left where he is most comfortable. And we had the Jamilu Collins who doesn't even strike confidence except Bruno Oyemachi comes into play. The only place we have luck or shining light is on the right side where we have Bright Osai Samuel or Olaino. Both of them are usually decent when they play for the Super Eagles. But the centre back pairing has been abysmal. We can't win aerial duels. We can't stop corner kicks from coming into the box. We don't even defend against set pieces. Over time. So I think it's obvious that defensively, the coach doesn't even know the players he's supposed to use. Kenneth Omero comes in and is the captain. Shemilogo comes in the next play time. If Chus Ekong, who is the original captain, comes back, everybody goes back to the bench. There is no synergy, there is no cohesion.
Obviously, there are coaches out there that are on Gennett Rowe's level in terms of experience, in terms of, I won't say in terms of ability, but I will say there are managers out there who are either a year or two out of their coaching licenses. They've just recently gotten their coaching license. You look at the likes of Xabi Alonso in Leverkusen, he's doing a fantastic job, and it's demonstrating that even a young coach can do very well. You look at Xavi taking up the awesome responsibility of Barcelona. The team is still playing a more pragmatic football, but the coach is still fine-tuning and finding the right balance of talent, of ingenuity amongst his players. He's trying to still blend a bit of youth with a bit of experience, and you can see that they are still in the race for the title. Why are we going for managers who, even if they have a list of clubs, a list of teams that they've managed, they haven't shown at those clubs, at those teams, that they are worth a national team job? Why aren't we going for managers, and there are plenty of managers out there who don't even have jobs, ones who have more experience, who have more successes, but they are waiting in line for a job in the Premier League. They're waiting to take over Norwich City because, you know, the Norwich City job is likely to, whoever is in charge right now is likely not going to be in charge in the next month or two, because once they enter a relegation battle, so the board will panic. Why aren't we going for managers within that range who definitely have the ability and can get us above the levels that we're currently struggling to break past?
So I will, off the top of my head, I would say 3 points. The first point is the NFF is short-sighted. I don't know how else to put it. You're short-sighted, you are not proactive. Secondly, your subtitle says it all. The NFF cannot afford not to sack Suzy Peseiro, but to appoint somebody better. They can't afford it. The third point that I would like to raise is the NFF seems content with the objective they have. They don't feel like they can do more. They don't feel like they can achieve more. Let me paint a picture of Brazil national team to you. Chiche took the Brazilian national team to Qatar 2022, And after all said and done, when they got to there, they said, okay, I've done my best and I'm leaving. This is a chiche that Brazil were winning left, right, and center. They won the Copa under him, defeated Argentina, were top of the world for so long. Now they went to an interim coach who they knew was not going to be long term. Guess what Brazil did? In the summer of 2024, Ancelotti is going to come around. That is the plan. The interim now, we know was there, and of course, Brazil are struggling. They lost against Colombia or so. They are even fourth on the log in terms of the qualifying series. So Brazil are struggling, obviously, and it's because of the managerial gap. But you and I know the manager there is not who will be there for the Copa. Is not who will be there at the World Cup. It's Ancelotti. And we are in 2023. We already know that. Here is the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We've drawn our first two games in the qualifying series. Something that should be shocking and something that should drive shocking waves down the NFF. But nothing is being done. Our third match is against South Africa. South Africa, who are currently leading the group. South Africa, who won their last game 2-1. Right? So it doesn't seem like we are proactive. It doesn't seem like we see the bigger picture of, okay, this is the problem ahead of us. This is what we're trying to resolve. And this is how we are going to get to it. We are not proactive as a people. So generally, these problems cannot be solved overnight. So I just think, go with what you have and let's see where we go from there.
All right, let's move on to the bigger topic that we're going to be discussing on the show. Before that, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.